It is Stars Without Number, Fels Rising, Session 9. Time for the recap. And apparently I will probably be doing it because nobody remembers.
All I remember is we ran into a bunch of like bandits on the road who wanted our help to get into some city, but the city was surrounded by mines.
Yep.
So we made our way into the city, looking to shut off the minefield potentially. It wasn't really clear that it would make sense to help the bandits, but we made it into the city. We disguised our vehicle with a parade float.
Yep.
To look like it was somehow celebrating the porcelain prince. Although the actual statue now is destroyed, so I don't know if our disguise will still hold. But we left and double-crossed the bandits and essentially tried to set the mines back up. For some reason, Kevin dressed a monkey up in a suit made to resemble his in the hopes that we wouldn't notice that he had replaced himself with a monkey duplicate.
Yes.
But in fact, we knew that it was monkey duplicate, or at least I assume we did, because I just wanted to get rid of the rabid little monkey.
Which you made rabid.
Right, which I made rabid by spending my hustle point on it.
Yes. Yes.
So we ended up trying to kill it and get it out of the car, and then it ran up on the roof, and in a peak of aggression, I followed it up onto the roof, eventually killing the monkey at the top of the porcelain prince statue. Kevin, meanwhile, had run off to join the bandits so that he could raid the city and rape and pillage for justice or something.
Well, he also wanted that gem.
Right. But he was, in his own mind, was justifying it as the act of heroes against villains.
Yes.
But they wound up getting mostly blown up too. And apparently Kevin lost a foot, which I don't remember at all.
Yes, Kevin. Kevin ran down to the town, and the mines went off because Skrill'ex set off the mines. He survived that. Then he runs back to the vehicle, and then for some reason runs back with the bandit as the rest of the mines go off, and that's when he got hit again, and his foot got blown off.
And the bandit shot the head off of the statue on our vehicle on the parade float.
Yeah, Cyclops.
I think not only did Kevin dress the monkey up, though, he also gave it a fraction of his power.
Yes,
that is true.
Yeah, he wanted to role play the monkey.
Man, I missed a hell of a session.
Yeah, he wanted to role play the monkey going forward if he should ever come back. But he also wanted to get that gem.
Yeah.
So he tried to split his character. I didn't really pick up on the fact that he was seriously considering playing the monkey when I killed the monkey. So Brendan did seem a little annoyed that I actually climbed out of the car to chase the monkey down.
But you know what? To some degree, that's fair, considering all the things Brendan has done in our games.
Well, yeah, my one-armed character, thanks to Brendan, chased his monkey down and killed it. Because he had resigned himself to not killing the actual Kevin, but killing a monkey in a Kevin suit was cathartic.
Yeah, I think it was called like the Life Tower or whatever, and it had a red crystal at the top of it, and he wanted to go steal it. He was trying to convince Krieg to use his telekinesis to pull it off there and give it to him.
Yeah, nobody would have noticed that.
Yep.
So I think we were driving away, leaving Kevin behind.
Yeah, you were.
As he actually dove out of the car stealthily in the middle of the minefield.
Yep. All right. Yeah. So you guys are leaving the smoke and some of the burning vehicles from this from the bandits behind, driving back down the Ultraviolet road.
Do we know that Kevin jumped out?
I think after the question is whether you look around, look for him or not. I mean, there are two vehicles.
Yeah, Skrill'ex is driving, so I don't think he realized that Kevin jumped out. He might
guess
not
Zavir
have
would
set
look
off
around.
all the mines had he known. Might not.
2/3 of the porcelain prince mannequin that was on top of the float broke off because Krieg was knocked into it. If you wanted to grab it and put it on the float or try to reattach it, that's fine, or just leave it.
Yeah, I would do that. As I make the assumption that Kevin is either in the vehicle behind or who cares, I will pick up the mannequin.
It's let's see.
What the vehicle behind is a float, like a parade float.
Yeah.
Yes. We would see. So my plan was to disguise the vehicle so that when we get to the bridge, they won't be able to identify us. And so in this town, we got someone to help us make essentially just like an outer shell, like a parade float that drapes over the vehicle so that when we get to the bridge, they'll say, oh, look, it's just some sort of porcelain prince parade float, not that vehicle we're supposed to destroy. I will, however, so I pick up the top part of the mannequin so that we can reattach it. I will also get the body of the monkey in the Kevin suit and just affix it to the front of the vehicle as a warning.
Okay.
You know,
like Mad
when
Max
Krieg
style.
gets up and of course, when Zavir is kind of watching you, and as soon as he kind of pieces together what you're doing, probably it'd be at the point where you're like, so are you gonna while driving, gonna try to affix the monkey to the front?
I probably could.
Or are we
but
like stopping to the side?
I would wait until we stop.
I kind of imagine you telekinetically putting the body of the monkey played out, like holding it in front of the car, and then just at one point just stopping your hold and letting it just get driven right into the grill.
She would be, I guess, a little confused to see you manhandle Kevin's monkey. And she's mostly confused because she think that Kevin would take issue with it. So when he's not saying anything, like she looks around and like checks the vehicle behind, says, has anyone seen Kevin? He's not in here, and I don't see him behind us. Did he?
He was here when we left the town, so I have to assume he left while we were driving away.
Now, I know it is not a popular opinion, but don't you think we should go back for him?
I do not.
Wait,
I will check my
guys said
compad. Go ahead.
you guys said Kevin's not here? Where's Kevin?
I'm not sure.
I
He
don't see
left
him.
us. Yeah, he left us at some point while we were driving out of that town.
Hey, while we were driving?
Yes,
Oh.
while we were driving.
Oh,
I'm a little
no.
afraid about what's left of him after all the explosions.
Yeah, I set up all the vines.
I will check my compad to see if Kevin is streaming.
So yeah, you look through there and you catch a glimpse of a post that has ended, and all you see is kind of like a very grainy video that's not really in focus, and then you just look up and you see like the bottom half of somebody's foot, and it's like being handed into the screen, and then that's when it stops. It's like, oh my god. There's
So yeah,
all,
I would watch if his stream is still available. I would watch that to see if he explains why he left the car.
no,
Because
there's no,
I feel like Kevin's stream probably would include him basically talking to Cyclops
yeah,
about this awesome raid they're about to do.
yeah, yeah. For the miscellaneous foot video right now, there's already 33 likes.
All of them bots.
Yeah. All right. So are you going to try to put the rest of the statue, the headless statue, on it, or are you just going to set it on top, or what?
I mean, I'm not Mr. Fix-It, so I would probably just wait until we're stopping and then
Okay.
get Skrill'ex's help.
All right. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, he probably has a better chance of making it look okay when it's stuck back up there than I would. But for the fixing the monkey to the vehicle, that is all me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is anyone
realizing that Kevin lost his foot from that video, I will also like his video.
It is now up to 34.
Zavir would check to see if anybody's injured from the last encounter, the last kind of 10 injuries.
Yeah, I'm pretty beat
So if
up.
anybody wants any hit points.
I have 7
right.
out of 20 hit points. I also did forget that at some point while fighting on the statue, my character somehow was hurled away by a 40-pound monkey, 40 pounds tops monkey, probably more like 20.
Yeah. Well, he did get a critical success.
So you get 7 points, health points back.
Thank you.
No. And you take 1 system strain. And when Mike's back, I'll heal Skrill'ex if Skrill'ex got beat up. So do we have a sense of how do we have a sense of like how much longer we think like where we are in relation to the bridge? Like are we still like a week away? Do we know? Is there any way that we know?
It would seem like you guys are probably like a day or 2 out from the bridge. You're probably gone halfway on the Ultraviolet road.
And I'm blanking. Batteries and fuel.
We did pick up some batteries in town.
Nice.
And you found out that the vehicle you're towing runs on the Ultraviolet road. It picks up some kind of energy and will run as long as it's on the Ultraviolet road. it doesn't go as
Right.
fast. So then you switched it around, and it's towing Big Hustlin'.
Because it will only run about an hour once it leaves the Ultraviolet Road.
Interesting. So did this town had batteries, like, were they the exact batteries that we used, or were they like batteries, but like Skrill'ex was able to like makeshift them into the form to what we needed?
I thought they were just what we needed.
Yeah.
I didn't know if like that a town would have, like, if our model of car, because we haven't seen any other cars that is similar, if like we had like a special battery or like a proprietary Sindoom battery, which is I was just curious.
The universal battery.
USB-B.
It would make sense for Sindoom to be evil enough to make batteries to their own special standards, so you can't get them anywhere else.
They probably, I mean, they also make a bunch of dongles too. That's how they fund their work.
How many
Through
dongles?
dongles and batteries.
Yeah, it'd be up to you guys if you want to try to if you don't want to go much further and put the porcelain prince mannequin back together minus the head, or just roll with it on top, whether Skrill'ex would try to fix it.
Yeah, I'd try to enlist Skrillex's help to just fix up the mannequin as much as we can.
All right, so I take it we're stopping the vehicle then for a minute to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we have like another day before we get to the bridge, so presumably we'll have to rest at some point.
Okay. So at some point, some distance away from the settlement, where we haven't seen any bandits or anything for a while, Skrill'ex would pull the car over. And
It's like a flat, open plain. There's nothing for miles you can see.
okay.
Just brown dirt.
So then I assume that's a fix.
Yep.
All right. And we'll use charisma to modify it because this is artistic. 12.
Someone would have to get up real close and examine it to see where it was actually broken at. It still doesn't have a head unless you want to try to put a makeshift head on it.
I think I would. I'd try to, salvage some of the materials from the rest of the float to make it kind of, because I don't assume we have anything else that we could use, but to make it all look cohesive.
The monkey head.
We have a monkey.
We do have a monkey head. I don't think Skrill'ex would butcher the monkey though. So unless Krieg, you want to do the honors.
No, I will allow you to create the head. I'm not handy in the way you are.
All right. So, do I need to make another roll for the head, or do we use just that original one?
Yeah, you need to make another roll.
Technically, you rolled 2 12s, 2 fixed rolls.
Oh, interesting. This one is a 10.
It's close enough that somebody would get the idea this is probably supposed to be the porcelain prince.
Perfect. All right, guys. I did the best I can.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing work, actually.
All right, so you guys head back down the Ultraviolet Road. As you go over the crest of a hill and start to come down, in the distance you see what looks like a giant teardrop, but it looks like a city built on a city that goes up to the top. looks like buildings, and it's got some kind of pylons at the bottom, and it's standing in this huge lake, and the road goes all the way, you can see it go all the way down to the bottom of like this valley and then up, and you can see it going into the teardrop.
What color is the teardrop? Is it like stone? Is it blue?
It looks like some kind of red, like rusted red color.
Well,
And how
that's
far
not
away from the
something to
bridge?
scare me.
How far away from the bridge are we now?
You would estimate you're at least a day from the bridge.
Well, that's certainly in our way. Do we want to go
I
around it?
suppose we could always.
I don't even think we can. It looks like the road goes through it, doesn't it?
Right, but this vehicle will operate for some period of time off the Ultraviolet road. Maybe we could go around.
Looking at this teardrop structure, does like in like 5e terms, like I want to make an insight check to see like how I would feel about this. Like does like I'm trying to like does Zavir get any sense of like dread or worry, or is there any way to like even kind of like vague, actually better yet, I can I'm gonna spend a commit effort, and I'm going to use my oracle as the precog, because I forgot that I was that. And I'm going to look into the future to see what happens if we go through, stay on the road. And I can go up to 1 day in the future. So I might do, like, how far away do we think we are from this structure? I guess like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
1
15,
hour.
15, 20 minutes away, yeah.
So I might look like 6 hours into the future, to see what happens if we follow this path.
Okay, do you roll on that, or to see how much you get, or you
No.
it just happens?
I get a single. It just happens. I get a single brief vision. It's always from my own personal vantage point. It never reveals more than a minute of insight. Though I processed it instantly.
Given how our luck's been going, I'm sure it's going to be like the beach scene from Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. So Zavir closes her eyes, and her eyes are like moving kind of rapidly, even though they're closed. And after a minute, she kind of comes to and says, "Inside this raindrop, there are many people. Seems there is someone in prison there who looks like Krieg, at least in a similar uniform. Very smoky, and smells bad. And it seems someone is offering a trip to win a trip to the upper levels. What these upper levels are, I have no idea."
Well, I don't really see it as our job to free a prisoner. I'm not sure why they'd be. I assume they're from our camp or some Sindhu expedition to this planet. I'm sure once we've conquered all these lands, we can set them free. But I mean, with just the three of us, I think trying to defeat security at their prison system is possibly foolhardy, and we need to get back to the camp.
Right, but Zavir, how exactly do your visions work?
I can see, at least at the moment, up to a day in the future for 1 minute.
So you saw in our future, if we went into the teardrop, that we would encounter a prisoner and possibly win a chance to be able to visit the upper levels.
Yes.
So it sounds like
Which
we
means
take a
that
trip.
we would have had to do those things in the same minute.
Wait, what?
Oh, what you cut out? You cut out.
Oh.
It sounds like if we take a trip.
It sounds like if we take a trip into this this teardrop here, we're going to prison. Why else would we meet a prisoner?
That is a very astute observation.
Wait, we need
Unless
to present.
the prison is nearby. Unless the prison is nearby the road, or we walk near it and we can see the prisoners from our vantage.
So yeah, let's not stop
I
in
did
this
not
teardrop.
see where I was
Let's
standing.
just drive through. Tis a silly place.
Yeah.
We may we may have to stop. It depends if they have gates over the road.
Well, wait a
which I'm
minute. So
sure they probably do.
Zavir, do your visions account for what we're planning to do, or or is it no matter what we do, these are things that we're going to encounter?
They are, if we decided to enter the teardrop, these are things we would encounter. If we
Okay.
decide to not go through there, then it would not come to pass.
Sure, because I want to do well in prison with you big types. They'll take my toy.
I cannot determine whether or not we were in prison or just happened to be near it. Or if somebody mentioned, or there was a picture of who is currently in prison that they had on display.
So wait a minute. Could it be that the smoky, smelly dude in your vision wearing Krieg's armor stole his armor in like a prison fight?
Yeah, that would be impossible, as my armor is just a
It is.
manifestation of my telekinetic powers. Is it possible that this prisoner is just me?
This person resembled you, either that or it. I guess it could be. I guess I could not tell exactly.
Because if it's me, that's all the more reason
But
not
there
to
are
visit
lots
the
of
teardrop.
lots of humanoids. I thought I would be in favor of going around. It seems like there could be trouble if we go inside. But that is not to say there are side doors. There are not side doors in this teardrop that they would know if someone is trying to not go through, and they might come out the other ends. So it could be trouble either way.
I mean, that's a fair point. I suggest we maybe give this teardrop a wide berth then. At least try to stay outside of any obvious weapon range that we can think of. Even if that adds a couple hours to our journey, even if we have to switch it up to let Big Hustlin drag the little vehicle. since we'll be off the ultraviolet road.
Right, but we're limited on battery supply. We have to take that into account.
Well, how long can Big Hustlin' ride on the batteries we have now?
I think it's.
18 hours.
I think you were down to 6. I think.
Then we got the new batteries.
Yep.
So what is it with the new batteries?
It would probably like 24 hours.
So how long did it take us to get from the whatever it is, the chasm that kills all electronics to the bridge?
It wasn't very long.
I recall it was like an hour to get.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it like an hour from the chasm to get to the village, and then it was like a couple hours from the village.
Yeah, it wasn't.
To the bridge.
So it seems like if we mostly stay on the ultraviolet road, we do have some excess capacity.
Well,
I'm not sure I would do that well in prison.
yeah, I definitely don't want to go to prison, or meet prisoners, or have some reason to win a contest for visiting the upper levels, which, seems strange. But also, we do have to be conscientious of our power usage. And how big is the drop?
It looks like a city.
Okay.
I know that means like lots of things for different people, but like a large city, like
Well, like, for example, Chicago, without traffic, you could probably drive from one end of the city to the other in 30, 45 minutes. Trying to go around it, though, that's going to take you like hour and a half, depending on the
Or is
ways that you
this
take.
like,
yeah. So
or like, I'm watching like Legend of Korra now, and they have like the giant lion turtle cities. So like,
Legend
just
of
like
Korra is
these
so good.
giant buildings on like a big turtle's back.
yeah, so think of this like Chicago.
So like, I wonder if this is like that.
Yeah, so think of like city of Chicago, like, but sitting on like a platform of pylons, and then there's another city on top of it and more buildings on top of it till it goes to a peak at the top.
Oh, that's the kind of teardrop it is. It's not like an actual teardrop. It's a teardrop shaped city. I was thinking it was like, okay. In my head, I thought it was like, some kind of teardrop structure, like an outer wall or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But that makes sense. So can we drive under the city then?
There's a lake that is underneath it.
So it's closer to being Chicago than we thought.
I mean, we could split the difference and just drive around the lake. And if they start firing at us, we improvise and move further away quickly.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you, Krieg. I have no intention of going into that city and going to prison for whatever potential crimes we may or may not commit, but definitely almost probably going to commit. So I think we should split the difference. Let's get as close as we can, and then switch gears with the vehicles and go to battery mode. But we really have to be careful with our usage there.
You think we are going to commit crimes? Certainly. I mean,
with Kevin gone, like
Yeah.
But
that reduces our chances of committing any crime by
But we
significant
didn't
amount.
commit crimes the first time the Porcelain Prince turned against us and his sovereign lord, Fels.
Right. I mean, dude, I'm not saying that we're gonna intentionally commit crimes, but breathing wrong on the wrong person in a city like that. Who knows? This place is so weird. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Like
Just in case, though.
we're literally fighting people who ride cast iron bikes.
That's true. This is a planet full of savage madmen who need the light of Jaggerfells in their lives, but do not yet have it. So we can't trust them to act rationally. Just to be safe, though, I will ride on the outside of the float waving so that maybe they'll think we're a small parade.
Well, you have to have the right kind of wave, remember.
All right, so everybody give me a notice roll.
6.
Also 6.
9.
So Zavir, as you are inside the float, looking through the tiny little window that is not covered with float material, you notice on the side of the road figures that look like nomads, kind of like scurrying around behind the rocks. They seem to be carrying weapons, slings or something.
There are I see nomads on the rocks.
What do you
They
mean
seem to be
nomads?
armed with primitive weapons. Like when you say nomads, do you mean like the people we've run into before, like the person that had Kevin wrapped up in a net and was like those people?
Yep. Yeah, they wear like brown, like they
Oh,
wear like brown cloaks to blend in.
like the people living in this area that we've encountered before. They seem to be armed with primitive weapons, slings, and
Why are they coming out because of us? And then Skrill'ex begins using his sensors to scan the area to see if there's anything else other than us in the vicinity that they might be responding to.
Yep. Everybody give me an initiative roll. G8.
3. Oh wait, no, that was Kurt. 6. Or who did add Zavir? Okay, Zavir's Dustin.
that is it, me.
I got a 4.
And you got a 6.
Yes.
So Skrill'ex, as you're doing that, you're scanning, you pick up about a dozen of these nomads moving around, hunching down behind like rocks. And you see one stand up on one of the rocks like a couple meters high, and he starts swinging like, looks like a grappling hook. You are coming, as you're driving down the road, you see him up ahead. He just pops up on this rock with a grappling hook in his hand.
All right. Time to start driving with some evasive maneuvers. Or, I'm just gonna. Are we in the battery car now, or still in the ultraviolet road car?
Pretty sure you're in the ultraviolet road car. I don't think you've switched.
Right. We didn't switch yet. And how wide is the road?
It's 2-lane highway.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna just start trying to, like, trying to make ourselves harder to hit.
Give me a drive auto.
Whatever
Pilot.
that is.
Is it, or isn't it just the pilot? Okay, sorry, wrong system. That's Cthulhu.
9.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're driving back and forth. Krieg has anticipated you doing this, so he's doesn't have to worry about falling off. You're up, Krieg. You can see this as you're up there waving, apparently to nomads.
How do I see how many nomads?
You see this one jump up on the rock, waiting for as he's swinging his grappling hook over his head.
So as my on turn action, I'll activate my armor and weapons, and I'm going to use my hustle point to extend the range of my armor over the entire parade float, so they can't damage our parade float.
Oh wow! Okay. Okay. All right.
Our getting across this bridge depends on the parade float.
Can I imagine now, instead of a parade float, it's just like kind of like the car is now surrounded in a hologram of like Krieg's upper body.
It's the
abs.
Abmobile at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Abmobile.
You can see the monkey's abs ripple in the front. All
And
right.
while this is happening, everybody in the car notices their abs are equally chiseled and amazing and sparkle.
And then we're going to try to shoot this guy.
Okay.
8 to hit.
That does not hit.
Is his armor class 13 or less?
Yeah.
And he takes 4 shock damage. Oh, wait, I rolled the wrong thing, I think. Yes, I rolled the wrong thing. There's no shock damage for this one.
Okay. So you fire, just hits off the rock. He stands there and hurls the grappling hook. It skips on the ground and then just like bounces off the vehicle and lands on the side of the road. Zavir.
She's gonna take her grab her rifle and like lean out the side of the window and shoot the guy standing on top of the rocks. That does not hit. That was a 7.
Okay. It's a moving.
As the shot goes wide.
All right, Skrill'ex, are you still driving evasively?
Yes.
Zigzags works against raiders and crocodiles.
Yep. Yeah, in your scanners, you pick up more of them on the road, like they're all like running towards the ultraviolet road, coming up from the rocks.
Well, as I'm going back and forth and zigzagging, I will make sure to bring as many of them directly into the path of the car as possible to crush their skulls under the wheels like a xenomorph.
Yeah, they are not running onto the ultraviolet road. You can just see them coming towards it, like from behind rocks, coming up close to the side.
You know, this is making me think the ultraviolet road is clearly acting as some kind of power source for this vehicle, correct?
Yep.
So Skrill'ex is gonna start wondering, you know, if there's a way to weaponize this. And while he's driving, see if maybe he can't rewire some systems or do some programming, hacking stuff to maybe give us a some kind of like, I don't know. Maybe we just explode in brightness as we resonate with the ultraviolet road.
Sounds like a Kevin move.
Yeah.
Kevin inspired.
Although a burst of speed would be nice.
Yeah, you know, that makes sense to Zavir. It's like if they could harness it to you know, draw on some extra energy here and there.
Well,
Like
Clearly
maybe
s-
there's parts of the ultraviolet road that have like arrows on them, so when we go over them, we speed up.
yeah, clearly Skrill'ex is missing Kevin, even though he didn't really care much for him.
I mean, if you want to use your hustle point to try to rewire something on the car to either give yourself a weapon or make it go faster.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll use the hustle point and have the exoskeleton like continue to do autopilot, just continuing the same maneuvers.
Yep.
And I'll dive into like the console of the car
Yep.
and like actually start physically like pulling wires and reconnecting them and everything like that.
All right.
All right. So I'm thinking, what would that be? Program
Yeah, I'll give you a program.
5. I'm gonna use my expert ability to re-roll that.
That's a good idea.
That's better. 11.
Nice.
Okay. So what did you have it? What do you have it do?
Well, you know, Skrill'ex doesn't really know what he's doing.
Even better.
So
Even better.
I mean, he has some general tactical goals, but you know, given the situation and how fast he has to work, and the fact that he just like kind of dug himself under the control console and is blindly just like reconnecting wires in ways that he believes should have some kind of positive outcome, but he can't say for certain what.
Okay. All right. You give me a D10 roll. We'll find out what you did.
4.
Okay. Krieg, you're up.
Do I still see the guy with the sling?
Yeah, he's still up there. Like he's grabbed it and like trying to see if because the vehicle's gone past. He's not sure. Who knows what kind of arm strength he has.
So I will try to shoot him again. 10 to hit.
Roll damage.
6 damage.
So you kill him.
1 down.
One down. He collapses to the ground, and as another
my
one
third.
runs over and tries to grab the grappling hook, realizing the vehicle's too far away for him, and he picks it up and starts running.
I'm just waiting for the kit style turbo boost. We launch into the air with the float in tow.
All right, Zavir.
So one went down. How many others are visible at the moment?
You can see like 4 or 5 on your side of the vehicle.
Are there any of them that can I tell if any of them are holding grappling hooks?
No, it doesn't look like any of them have grappling hooks. They may have like a sling or a spear or some other weapon, a waffle iron.
I would Zavir would shoot the one with the waffle iron.
Okay, good.
The most dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 13.
That's a hit.
Is it a hit?
Mm-hmm.
It does 10 damage.
You murderized
Nice.
the guy with the
Actually,
waffle.
but did full damage.
You murderized him with the waffle iron. He's shot, collapses to the ground.
I am more of a pancake woman.
All right, Skrill'ex, give me an attack roll.
And that would be my turn.
How do I do attack rolls again? Because I just have my things that I click.
What kind of attack roll is it? Like, is he to get his attack bonus, I assume?
Yeah, you get your attack bonus, whatever that is.
So it's a
Yeah.
D20 plus your attack bonus plus whatever stat you're using.
Okay. What stat would I be using for this, Peter? Is it based on the effect of what I've done? Is it based
Yep.
on me actually? Okay, so I'm thinking intelligence then.
Yep.
So 20 plus 1. 6.
Is that you rolled a 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Krieg, you see like these beams of energy come shooting out of the float and like crisscross across the road, like blasting near all where the nomads are. It doesn't hit any of them, but they all duck out of the way.
It's like the A-team.
Non-lethal damage.
So where are these? How far away are these attackers that we're just being shot at?
There's one that's up near close to the road, and he's drawing a spear.
My turn or their turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm going to try to kill that guy from the float. 11 to hit.
Yep.
14 damage.
Yeah, he goes splat. And you hear the distinct sound of like a gunshot go off. Some of the nomads begin to turn and retreat after seeing one go down, and then this last one gets splatted. Zavir, they're beginning to retreat from the road.
Well, if they're retreating from the road, can I tell if they're retreating? Can I tell if like they're like running away or if like they're like retreating to like pull out like kind of regroup for an attack in another manner?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume if you're Sindum, it's obvious they're retreating to regroup for a second attack.
So I'm gonna continue to shoot at them then. And show no mercy. And I miss.
With some mercy.
Yeah, it was a warning shot.
I missed on purpose. After that waffle iron guy, I thought I'd go easy on him for a round.
So Skrill'ex, you manage to get back into your mech, and you see that you detect that they are running away. They're like now dispersing back, going back away from the road.
Excellent. Looks like it worked. Whatever it was I did.
So Skrill'ex is gonna stop with the maneuvers and just start driving straight then.
So up ahead,
Han Solo like maneuvers to avoid the enemy.
So up ahead on the side of the road looks like a flatbed truck that's got a bunch of crates in it, and there's a person standing on top of it with a long gun. And they're not pointing it at your vehicle. They kind of like put it down as you begin to approach. They're kind of like in cloaks, and they're wrapped up similar to the nomads, but they are clearly not the same. Not a nomad.
So I'm on top of the float still, so I don't really get a say in where we're driving.
So they bring out a long gun, but they're not pointing it at us.
Lake, right?
Right. As you're getting closer to them, you see them put the gun up like this.
We are Sindum though, so this could all be a nomad trick.
So yeah, this all just confuses me, but it seems like Skrill'ex is thinking,
well, maybe they just realized that it wouldn't be worth it to do whatever it is that they were intending to do. And so he's just gonna look at the dude, give him the finger from the window, and keep driving.
Everybody give me a notice roll as you drive past.
7.
3.
10.
Luckily, I can shoot at long range because I'm still considering whether or not to shoot this person in the dick.
Like RoboCop.
Right. And because I suspect this is a nomad trick.
What? Oh, in one of the crates. Hey guys, I think they have Kyme, the cat lord.
How do you know this?
Just look. And Skrill'ex points to one of the crates.
Yeah, and as you drive by, it looks like there is a cat-like humanoid in one of the crates.
And it's funny how missing a word like "in" can change an entire sentence. Because when I read that the first time here, you notice one of the crates is a cat-like creature. I'm like, what? What kind of cat looks like a box?
Does the crate look like it's a cage?
Yeah.
I will give a thumbs up to Kyme then. Congratulations on surviving as we drive away.
Where did we lose Kyme?
He was
Where did
carried
we
off
lose
by
Kyme?
a mutated flying creature when we stopped.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's back with his own people now. I don't know why they've locked him up, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Should I shoot him in the dick?
So like where?
I don't.
So where is this crate? Like I'm having like a hard time visualizing.
So you're
It's on a
driving down
flatbed
the
truck
yeah, you're driving
that we
down the
drove.
road.
that we drove past and that Skrill'ex gave the finger to the driver of.
Yeah. And there's a guy standing on these crates on his flatbed truck, and in one of the crates looks like Kyme, the cat lord.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Well, I certainly wouldn't want to cause any trouble.
I would just point out this is precisely the kind of thing that gets you arrested and thrown in prison in the Teardrop City.
Well, Krieg, go ahead and shoot that guy in the dick.
9 to hit. Can't roll above a 3.
Damn. All right, you fire, and it just hits the side of his vehicle. It knocks off some rust.
Well, if he's not doing anything, I'll try again. Got to break this weird roll 20 dice curse I have. There you go. I rolled a 5, so that's an 11.
All right, that's a hit.
7 damage.
So you're using like a telekinetic.
Beam, basically. A beam of telekinetic force strikes him.
Yeah, and then he jumps
Probably
down.
probably not dead center of the dick.
I was gonna say if you can hit his dick with an 11, well, good for him.
Give me a D8 roll then.
6.
He gets his arm just in the way and blocks it. and then he hops down behind his vehicle and takes cover. All right, you continuing on?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So you get down to the bottom where the Ultraviolet road begins to head up into the Teardrop City.
Are we turning off and going around the lake?
I begin waving again.
Yeah, that was the plan. Unless we have something that can allow us to drive on or through a lake.
Technically, we've never tried
I
that
wish.
with this vehicle.
So we probably be turning off the road, pretty soon then, if it's starting to go up into the Teardrop City.
Okay. So you head off the road?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a pilot roll.
Okie dokie. First time I've rolled like shit all night. Except that attack roll, I guess. 3.
So it's hard. There is really not a road around this thing. It's just a bunch of divots and potholes, and you're having to go really, really slow. And there's a lot of mud.
So lots of potholes and mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's difficult. That's like driving through jello then, basically. So is there danger of our vehicles actually getting stuck then?
Yes.
Okay. So Skrill'ex would be very careful to avoid that, but then he'll point out to the others. Yeah, off-roading here is not so good. We might actually get stuck.
I don't know if it's worth being stuck or in prison. Potentially in prison. Do you feel confident in your abilities to be able to navigate us through? Or do you think we should turn back?
I mean, if we just had the one vehicle, maybe. But we're towing another vehicle, and we're looking like a freaking parade float. So...
Just saying the vision could still come to pass. We all wind up in prison for a traffic violation.
Based on the consistency of this road, I see us as having really 2 choices. One, we try and turn back a little bit and get more firm ground to drive on. Or we're going to have to bite the bullet and go through the city.
Yeah, now that I'm up on top of like the float watching this vehicle driving in front of me, I'm beginning to realize for the first time Skrill'ex isn't actually as good a pilot as I am. I also have a +0 to piloting, but I have somewhat of a dexterity. I assumed you were just like more trained in piloting than I am.
Oh, no. When it comes to fixing things or programming, yeah. Other stuff, not so much.
Yeah, I have a net +1 to piloting.
Yeah, I can make a ship. Don't ask me to pilot a ship.
Because I've been so busy fighting all this time that I never noticed that you were not a good driver. You almost got us stuck in the mud.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Nobody else wanted to do it.
My piloting, well, I have no modifier to my pilot, so
Okay, let's break it down. What we had at our party after Josh left. We had Krieg, who was clearly needing to be the guy fighting things and throwing them off the car. We have Zavir, who needs to be healing people and doing all the sewing up stitches in the back of the car. And then we had Kevin. So who's going to do the driving?
Right.
Because let's face
That's
it,
fair.
if Kevin were driving, he would do it while he's streaming, taking selfies, and would run us right into a ravine.
We don't need roads. Super friends.
We just make roads. I think if you feel we should get off, we should return, and I think that is a wise move. I don't. This is around a lake, and there's very clearly, unless we can find some like some off-road roads. Think of like the 4x4 all-wheel drive roads. We can find some kind of local roads. Maybe we do a quick check. We should be able to handle that. I think even towing something.
Yeah. I think that's probably best.
We'll need
I don't want
we'll need to go away from the lake. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So Skrill'ex is going to start trying to do the wide U-turn to try and get back onto the road and backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Did we see any roads that intersected with the Ultraviolet road on the way in?
Or perhaps are just more drivable.
Yeah, if you were to turn around and drive back up the Ultraviolet road, it's fairly flat. There are some rocky outcroppings, but you can see that this is probably where a lot of the Nomads travel. So you could probably get on some of their paths.
Okay. I would try and do that then.
All right, so yeah, give me a roll to turn this thing around.
Beep, 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 beep. 11.
You are successful in turning the vehicle and getting it out of the mud and back onto the Ultraviolet road.
Whew. I don't know if you guys realize just how tricky of a maneuver that was, but we almost lost all of it. So
You are a very impressive driver, no matter what Krieg says.
Are we going to have to drive past the flatbed again?
I hope so.
If so, I'll practice waving harder.
All right, so you head back up the Ultraviolet road. You're coming up to the flatbed truck.
We see the person who had the gun.
No, you do not notice him.
So I will wave to Kyme as we pass by.
He gives you a very sad look.
Now, have you guys ever seen
Deny me 3 times.
what?
This is saying like this is the second time we've denied him. Deny him one more time.
Have you guys ever seen Shrek 2 with Puss in Boots doing the full sad eyes? That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really know him anyway.
We're sure giving him reason to hate us. he's gonna be like our monkey that comes after Chris, hiding in the closet. As soon as he gets out.
I mean, you should really be mad at Kevin, if anyone.
Well, everybody should just be mad at Kevin. He's to blame for all of this.
So is there like I know he's in a crate. So does the crate have like windows? How are we seeing him?
It's got like a barred up window in the front.
Is there like an obvious lock?
Yep.
I will try to shoot the lock.
Okay.
13.
Yeah, you hit it.
9 damage.
Yeah, you blast the lock and like part of the door right off. Pushes forward and leaps onto the road and starts running up after the vehicle from as you are driving away.
Does that dude with the long gun pull out the gun?
Yes, as he steps behind the vehicle to draw his weapon.
While that's happening, can Skrill'ex do like a wideband search to see if his gun happens to be connected to Bluetooth?
It is not.
They seem like the kind of people that would have Bluetooth in everything, even though they're riding cast iron bikes.
I am just picturing the poignant moment when Kyme gets shot in the back while escaping. Having just been freed only to be killed. I do not signal to slow down so the Kyme can catch us.
So you hear the crack of a gunshot and you see Kyme wince in pain as he is struck. And he is like dragging his leg, trying to follow the vehicle. As that guy, you see him reload.
It's funny because Krieg probably could just lift him with his mind and bring him over.
How far is the guy with the long gun?
From you guys?
Yeah.
Probably 100 yards right now.
I would turn around and like reach back and try to hit him.
Okay.
It's a 15.
Yep.
I hit him for 5 damage.
Yeah, so
technically I can only move things 20 meters per round. So if we're driving, I probably can't get him onto the vehicle.
So yeah, you shoot him and he kind of steps back and then takes cover again behind his vehicle as Kyme continues.
I have to at least get Kyme. I mean, at this point, yeah, my internet's not been great. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At least slow it down so we can have Kyme catch up. I mean, he's already free. He's just gonna die out here. All right. If we've committed any crimes, we've already committed one by blasting off the lock on the cage.
Oh, also shot the guy.
Well, that too.
Skrill'ex would
So
eventually slow down.
And I would watch.
Just wait till he gets like to the door and then speed up again.
The guy gets in his truck and heads begins to head
Towards-
away from you guys.
Towards Kyme. To run him over.
And then Kyme in the truck's grill would meet the monkey in our grill.
So you eventually slow down and wait
Yeah.
for Kyme to finally make it.
Right,
Yeah.
shot.
Yes, dragging his leg. Oh.
He might open the door for him even.
Yeah, we don't. He was riding on the roof before. That's fine. What if he pees in there? I don't want to drink that.
So he crawls up onto the vehicle and just kind of lays there.
All right. Once he's
They
on,
capture you. How did they capture you?
I was lifted up by the creature, and then when I woke up, I was being grabbed and taken and put in a crate. And he looks like behind him, like, I don't know how many more lives I have left. You see how short my tail is now?
I'm gonna take a look at his tail.
Yeah, it's a nub.
What happens? Does part of your tail fall off each time you die?
Yes, 9 lives.
I'll be honest, Kyme. You'd be better off not traveling with us. We do not lead safe lives.
I'm not worried about comfort.
Just saying, if you travel with us, yeah, you may lose the rest of that tail.
and then how does Kyme react to Krieg only having one arm now?
He notices and doesn't say anything. Maybe that's what happens when Krieg loses his lives.
I'm gonna heal him.
Okay.
So he'll take a system strain, but he gets six health back. So
Oh, thank you for
he
you
can,
all the Felix whiz you need.
Forgot about Felix Fizz.
Yeah.
I am good. Thank you though.
Yeah, he just kind of sits up there and looks, sitting on the flowers and of the float, kind of looking at the statue, mannequin with Krieg. Why are you traveling like this?
We're just defending the float.
Okay. So you find like one of the nomad side roads and get on that to make your way around the lake.
Yeah,
Okay.
best route we can find for that.
Okay.
Would you want me to do a notice roll or survival or something to try and find a adequate
Yeah, survive would be good.
fix?
You pick up about 3 or 4 nomads that are nearby, but not close enough. They're not like right on the road that you're on.
All right, and the road itself seems trespassable.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would then turn the caravan onto that way for as long as the vehicle will do it off the Ultraviolet road before decoupling and trying to switch positions.
Gotta make sure there's nothing clogged in the tailpipe.
So give me a no roll.
11. I am on fire with these rolls today.
So yeah, you would have to drive the other vehicle and tow the other one because it's going to be more than an hour to go around this lake on these side roads.
Okay. So then once it became possible logistically, Skrill'ex would then put the vehicle in park, exit, and start making the arrangements to switch. Do you need any rolls for that?
Yeah, because I think probably everybody would have to roll because you would have to, unless you wanted to, in order to save the float, you're going to have to like dismantle some of it to take it off and then move the vehicles.
So maybe it's good that we got Kyme, because Kyme can offer an extra set of hands for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's healed now, so there's no excuse.
So I'll use exert to help.
All right.
7.
Can I use a fix roll to like repair any damages or anything that might occur to the float in the process?
Yeah.
Oof. It's a 5.
All right, Zavir.
What are we fixing?
So basically, you've turned this into a float. So you've got two vehicles that are attached to each other, and she built like a whole frame that went around the whole thing and covered it. So you've got to like dismantle that, unhook the vehicles, move them around, and then put the frame back on.
Oh, we're taking it apart.
Yeah. I'm assuming because
Gotcha.
you're trying to keep all that together.
Yeah. See, what would I know? How could I know what to help that? You know, the layout. You know, I've had enough experience carving into bodies and sewing them back up that I'm able to. This actually seems kind of laid out in a familiar way. So as I'm like kind of helping kind of dismantle it, it's kind of almost comes. I kind of know the right places to pull apart.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's an 8.
Skrill'ex, give me a D6 roll.
3.
All right. So the first hour goes by, no issues. You guys are successfully take the frame off, not to damage it too much. I'm assuming that Krieg is using his telekinetic powers to move stuff around and lift things.
Sure, why not?
Krieg, give me a
Assuming Kyme
D6
do it.
roll.
6.
Okay. So you are past 1 hour in it's been about an hour and a half as you are moving the vehicles, getting ready to attach them, and you all of a sudden feel the ground shake like a tremor.
We all feel it, or just Krieg?
All of you.
So are there like, is there like a cliff near us? Are we in any danger of something falling on us?
No, these you're in like a rocky flat land. I mean,
Then I would shrug it off as, you know, I didn't realize the plateau was this geologically unstable. Given that it's a plateau, you would have expected it to crumble, like the whole thing. But, you know, guess it's a fluke.
Well, wait. Is this like a continuous rumble, or is it just like you notice it and it goes away?
give me a no roll.
To see if it goes away.
No.
Three.
It's continuous.
Guys, why is the ground shaking?
I assume it's some strange geological instability.
Right, but are we sure?
Does it feel like like the ground? Like, does it feel like an earthquake, or does it feel like there's like a big truck on the road and it's like shakes the ground as it drives by?
Give me a no roll.
Type deal.
Or perhaps a herd of thundering pterosaurs.
A 10.
You now, as you like listen for a moment, you realize these are footsteps.
Oh God.
Guys, that is not this is no earthquake. They are footsteps. I would assume very large ones.
Footsteps.
With
What?
this sort of
What the heck can make footsteps make the ground shake like that?
And then, do we see anything if we were looking around the vehicles in the distance?
Everybody give me a notice roll.
6.
9.
11.
Okay. Krieg, as you look around, you see like plumes of dust in the air, and you catch the outline of something. It's got to be 8 meters tall, moving towards you.
I will shoot it. 22 to hit.
Yeah.
17 damage.
So you blast, you shoot this energy, and materializes as this giant humanoid with like a loincloth and a club.
Uh-oh. I think I just saved us from Snoo Snoo.
What'd you do that for?
Because you're a giant in a hostile land of barbarians.
He picks up a rock and hurls it at you. Does a 20 hit?
Yes.
You take 6 damage.
Then I would shoot him again.
Let's roll initiative.
6.
8.
4.
Zavir, you're up first.
Can I tell if the giant? So he asked why we shot him. Can I tell if he looks like he's going to continue attacking?
Yeah, he looks pretty agitated.
Does it look like it's a human? Like it's just a person who happens to be 8 meters tall, as opposed to some monstrous creature that's 8 meters tall?
Right, he looks humanoid, yeah, like a human.
It will send a signal to his
I'm
people
gonna
that they
shoot
must
him.
bow before us. We should just kill him.
I'm going to shoot him with my laser rifle.
All right,
16.
that's a hit.
8 damage.
He grabs a rock and hurls it at you. That's a hit. You take 7 damage.
Who does?
Zavir, who just shot him.
Ouch.
Krieg, you're up.
She's looking pretty.
I will shoot him again. 6 to hit.
6 does not hit.
That's a nat 1.
Okay.
71.
I do need my chart. You feel a twinge in your good arm.
Uh-oh.
Did I hurt my good arm?
Well, I mean, it
By
was
which I
kind
mean
of
my only arm.
your.
So it's the best arm.
Yeah, your phantom limb feels fine, but this one, yeah, you feel like you re-injured it again from from the fall that you took.
Is it still usable or no?
Yeah, it's still usable. It's just painful.
Okay.
But you're amphibious to pain, so you're fine. Skrill'ex.
Well, it seems everybody else is committed to shooting. So Skrill'ex is going to get his shoulder-mounted combat rifle in place and shoot in a burst. Nice. 18 on the
Yep.
attack.
Yep.
13 damage.
Yeah, he's looking pretty rough. He's now, you can see, bleeding. He's got like green blood dripping from him.
Skrill'ex, seeing that this guy can also launch giant rocks, is going to run away from the rest of the group to make himself a less attractive target to the group that is all clustered together.
You smell
No, I would yell, Kyme, pull your weight.
you smell you get the smell of Felix whiz from underneath one of the vehicles. Zavir, you're up.
I'm going to shoot him again. Man. Oh, there we go. A 9.
That misses.
As it goes wide.
Yep. And he walks up to you guys and pulls back his club and swings it and attempts to destroy the mannequin on top of the float. Does it still have the telekinetic energy, I would assume?
Yeah, I wouldn't have lowered my armor while we were.
So what's the armor class of it then? It would be your armor class, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't have my dexterity. So let's
Be even more dexterous.
So 16.
Yeah, so he reels back this club and just tries to hit it, and it just does nothing. He is like shocked the fact that it like dissipates, and he looks at his club and just screams in anger. And it's almost ear piercing. Krieg, you're up.
My abs ripple mockingly. 11 to hit.
Just misses. It's the scream threw you off. Skrill'ex.
I am going to circle around and try to shoot him in the back.
Okay,
14,
that would be a hit.
4 damage.
Okay, so yeah, you blast him. The explosion just kind of engulfs him, and he just kind of turns and looks at you, irritatingly. Zavir.
I'm going to use Psychic Sucker on myself to heal me. So I get 4 points, hit points back.
Okay.
That's a main action. So that's my turn. This system needs like bonus actions or like something you can do besides like a main action.
Let's see. I'm going to give him a roll here to see who. Does he attack the statue, the mannequin, or Krieg? Oh, looks like it's Krieg this time. With his club. That would be a hit. I'm assuming 25 is a hit.
Yeah, that's a good assumption.
Okay, you take 13 damage.
Okay. So my armor fades into nothing, available for him to hit as the red shield around it cracks and shatters and disappears. And I fall to the ground.
All right, you are up. Give me a physical save.
I passed.
Okay. All right.
Nice. Just passed.
Skrill'ex.
I'm gonna shoot him right in the ass.
All right.
Apparently, his ass is not as big of a target as I thought.
That's a nat 1 as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh boy.
I rolled a 39.
Okay. You only embarrass yourself. You fire it off into the distance. A nomad is killed.
Yes. At least the bullets haven't been wasted.
You hear the Wilhelm scream. Zavir.
I'm going to I'm gonna jump out of the hearing. So what I have heard, Krieg, because he's on the float.
Now we were
What
taking
I've
the
heard
float
Krieg
apart,
fall.
so
Yeah.
I assume I was
Yeah.
on the ground.
Would Krieg have like screamed or had any indication that he is no longer?
I assume when you get crushed with a giant club, you don't make that much noise.
I'm gonna see if I can notice, look out the window and see if I'll notice Krieg's body, which is an 8.
Yeah, you know.
So I could say I'd probably see it.
Yep.
Is the giant standing over him?
Yeah, the giant is near him. Yes.
I will run up to Krieg, and try to stabilize him and give him some health back. He gets 4 health back, so he is back up. He's revived. Could I try to pull him away? Carry him a little bit away from the giant so he can kind of regain his senses. I mean, it's probably not going to make much of a difference because the guy's huge, but
Yeah, you can. I'll give you an exert roll.
I'm just wondering if I could drag him anywhere that might be 11.
Yeah, you actually get some cover from the float.
Cool. So yeah, I'll drag him behind the float, on the other side of the giant, so that he's got a little bit of distance between them.
Seeing that this mannequin is just mocking him, standing there, he raises up his club to hit it, and he whacks at it, and big chunk of it comes flying off. Krieg.
Having just been revived, I will still try to shoot him. 10 to hit. I'm still groggy from.
Yeah, it's like everything was low. Skrill'ex.
All right. This time I'm gonna try and shoot him in the hand carrying the club
Okay.
and miss badly.
Not a nat 1 bad.
Not a nat 1 bad, but still
Okay.
bad.
All right.
And at that point, my mech says, "You are low on ammo. Please reload."
Zavir.
With Krieg back in action and this giant going ham, I'm gonna pop up over the float and shoot the giant. 16 to hit.
Yep.
For 9 damage.
So you blast me. He wobbles and just catches himself on one of the pieces of the float, before he falls over. And he's some of the wounds almost look like they were healing, but now they've opened back up, and he's just a big green mess now of blood. He kind of looks around, and he hears some kind of noise, and gets real agitated and runs over and grabs a rock and throws it at Skrill'ex.
Oh no.
14, I don't think that hits.
Are you kidding? Oh, actually, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I assumed I had a very low armor class.
And he misses. He seems like he's just trying to catch his breath right now. Krieg.
I will shoot him. 21 to hit.
Yep.
13 damage.
And tell me how he dies.
So as he's trying to catch his breath, I come up, painfully raising my best arm, but painful arm, up in front of my head. Several red glass-like shards of telekinetic energy form and pierce through his eye.
Give me a d6 roll.
3.
So when he falls to the ground, he manages to miss anything important on the float and does not crush it.
Excellent.
You know, as weird as it is to encounter a giant humanoid, like even more giant than you assholes, I think this is an opportunity that we can't pass up.
An opportunity for what?
Kyme sticks his head out. He's like, we gonna eat him?
Well, no, that wasn't what I was thinking, although I suppose there's no reason not to. But I was just thinking, if this creature is so large, think of how strong the tendons must be that are binding his bones and skeletal muscle, and how strong those bones must be. That offers great material to work with, especially to repair this float that he trashed.
Would be intimidating
Does
to have this float be covered in this giant's flesh.
The flesh float. I mean, hell, you got a monkey strapped to the front.
We could say that this is what happens to the. This is just a gift that the porcelain prince gave to those who were to this giant who was not willing to see his ways. So it totally makes sense. Does Zavir would be all in favor of harvesting the giant's organs. Honestly, it'd probably be some good field practice to keep her skills sharp.
Well, actually, that's not a bad idea. I mean, think about it. When you have a creature that's this large, and you get to see tiny details that are enhanced, that, you know, in normal people, you know, it's hard to see all that stuff, but you blow it up this size.
We were one level higher, I probably would ask Dustin to spend his hustle point to attach the giant's right arm to my stump.
You could save it for later.
Well,
throw it in the throw. We do have an ice. We have established that we have like a cooler of ice.
Yeah, you do.
That we
Is it
did
big enough to hold the giant's entire right arm?
Of course it is. Yes.
So I'd take out my monoblade knife and start carving up the giant in the way that one normally carves up a human or a humanoid.
wait a minute. In the one that normally carves up a human? What?
In the way that one normally carves up a human.
And I would ask you to save the right arm.
Yeah, I would make sure that it is saved. As I've kind of harvesting and kind of cutting in, I do notice the right arm is slightly bigger than the left. So I would point that out to Krieg.
Both of them are bigger than my regular arms, so.
All right. So give me. They don't have medicine. Why am I thinking?
Heal.
Yeah, it would have to be heal. Yeah, medical. Okay.
Heal it is 9.
So are you taking different organs out and stuff like that? Is that what you're doing? Just like.
So I would have been cutting off I would cut off or not cut off. I would separate the right arm first.
Right. Okay.
And get that on ice.
Yep.
Which apparently is not great for organs. Like if you cut off your toe or your finger, like it's not good to put on ice.
Well, you don't want to put it directly in ice. You want to put it into a baggie and have that baggie wrapped in like cool ice water.
Luckily, Zavir has a special thing, a special sense that allows him to have giant baggies just when we need them.
Yes.
Giant size Ziploc baggies.
Yeah, extra large. No, I'm serious. The extra ones. Come on, man.
Okay. So I cut off. I would separate the right arm first and get that situated for Krieg. And then I would go into starting to clean. I'd imagine this would be much like cleaning or dressing an animal for cooking. So, I'd start kind of slicing off the skin and peeling that, and then cutting into the muscle, getting flanks out in case we were hungry later, and then it's not human; it's just a giant, so it's not cannibalism.
Right. I would assume Sindu eats
then,
a few sentient species.
Okay.
And then I would get the bones out, and I would conduct, whatever, like, I don't know if they have like a Mohs hardness like tests that you can conduct on bones to see if Skrill'ex's theory about giants' bones being tougher actually hold up.
Okay. So as you're,
I might ask Kyme to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
I might ask Kyme to come and hold stuff and be my assistant. I might put here, hold this testicle.
At some point, Krieg will look at the giant's tackle and then look down to himself and consider whether or not we should put that on ice instead.
Yeah, the various things you hand Kyme, he will you catch him gnawing on them, testing them. So as you're cutting into the organs, you find the adrenal glands and notice they have a weird kind of glow to them. Unlike any of the other organs that are covered in this green blood.
So I'll carve those out. What are they glowing? Like what color? Or what color is the glow? Or does it?
Like a light blue.
Yeah, is it like a deep glow?
Like light blue.
Does it look familiar? Like, have I seen this glow before?
Mm-mm.
So I would point that out. So at this point, I imagine Zavir is just covered with green blood.
Yep.
And be like, Kyme, have you seen anything like this? And I would point to the glowing adrenal gland.
I don't know. How does it taste?
I don't know, and I don't want to try. All right, and I'll cut it. I'll cut it out and kind of set it aside. I might put those set it aside for further review later.
Well, seeing that, Skrill'ex would get out his scanners and see if it's radiating any kind of energy or just plain old radioactive.
Yeah, and I would take my comm pad and record the taking out of these glowing adrenal glands, and then post it to Kevin speed and say I feel like you were meant to be here for this. it might have been a way to increase your powers, but now we'll never know.
There's a sad emoji. He put the sad emoji on there. You pick up rutronium, which is an element.
Rutronium. Is that a real element?
No.
Oh, okay. Do I know? Does Skrill'ex know anything about it?
Krieg would probably have heard of rutronium, and in some of the studies, they claim that it is basically some people call it magic, but it's,
Well,
it's really
wait a
an
minute.
element.
I'm using my scanners to detect this. Can I just do a Spoogle search?
I feel like we didn't have space Google for whatever reason.
I really just wanted to say Spoogle.
Yeah. I thought we didn't get
Like, this is the secret hidden base. Although it would be hilarious if Kevin this whole time had been uploading his videos to Spacebook, giving away the location of the secret base.
I would call out to let Krieg and Zavir know, hey, these whatever it is that you pulled out of them, Zavir, it's full of rutronium. Not exactly sure what that is, but it's what the scanners are picking up.
Kyme, are you aware? Is this
Have
like
I heard of this before?
Is this a group that's native to this planet?
I don't know. I've heard of these creatures before. These large humanoids. I think they come from below, down in the caverns. I don't know what they're doing up here.
Well, wherever they are, that's big news. Because rutronium is that's beyond survival element. That is absolutely valuable. Our time out here may not be a complete waste. This is a significant discovery for the Fels Empire. I mean, maybe we could just start farming these creatures. Eventually, maybe we could just breed them into domesticity and just raise them to adulthood and slaughter them for their adrenal glands.
But Krieg, you're assuming they just produce this naturally. What if it's part of their diet?
Right. I mean, they must absorb it somewhere. I don't assume they're synthesizing the element inside. We would have to raise them on whatever their natural food is, but my understanding is it is hard to mine this sort of stuff, to find it in any quantity. So unless they're eating it raw, which seems unlikely, they must be concentrating it in their adrenal glands. Oh, we could probably find some better way than just farming these creatures to extract it, I'm sure.
Step
But
one.
it exists, right? It exists here somewhere.
Step one, capture giants. Step two, farm giants. Step three, profits.
Right. Having a slave race of lobotomized giants would just be a bonus, really.
Would I detect any kind of this glow from any other organ?
Nope.
Or like any kind of residuals, like I think Zavir might open the contents of the stomach to see if there's any sort of residual glow in there.
No.
I do not see any. I do not see this, at least in their stomach or anywhere else. It is, which I might expect to see if this was something that they was ingested from when they ate.
Is this the source of Kevin's glow? He may have become just a lot more valuable. Maybe we should dissect him when we get back to camp.
Well, anyways, adrenal glands aside, or whatever those things might be, how are we on getting the ligaments and tendons?
We are probably another 10 minutes as Zavir's like just like hot, like throwing giant, like she's like, you know, working one limb at a time, just like scraping it, then heaving the bones over, like over her shoulder into a pile, like throwing the flesh into a different pile. Tendons in one, ligaments in the other. So, you know, I would say probably another 15 minutes or so to kind of work at it.
Okay.
And you might get the sense that she's working pretty quickly through all of this. So she's not necessarily being like finely detailed. She's just like trying to like cut it up to be good enough.
Krieg and Skrill'ex give me notice roll.
3.
3.
Yep, that giant.
We ain't seen shit.
Yep. So what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna pack all this stuff into big hustling?
Yeah. I mean, for like some of the tendons and ligaments and stuff, we'd want to try and set them so that they can dry out. But yeah.
Okay.
Could dry, we could like tie them on like the back of Big Hustlin' so that they kind of wave in the wind and they dry out as we drive.
Now here's a question. How big of a parachute can we make with that scrotum?
Hopefully big enough to survive a planetary landing.
You know, where is Josh when you
For the
need
next
him?
campaign.
The entire section.
Did we want to try to did we want to try to dry out the skin before we cover the float in it? For the flesh float?
You know, I think strategic pieces, perhaps. Sure. I'm thinking maybe on the hood, like, so we got the monkey on the grill.
Right.
On the hood, sticking up from the hood, we just slice that nose off and put the nose right there. And then maybe where there would normally be the side view mirrors, just have the hand sticking out from there.
I would think that would be where the ears go.
Yeah. Either that or they could go up top. So I think like, yeah, we dry out the things that we'd want to. Maybe we'll talk more about the skin later. And then, you know, we have a bunch of meat now, like, you know, cut into fillets or flanks that could throw into the ice box. So if we get a fire, we have, you know, some protein to cook, to eat.
Just keep the cat out of there.
Chilling next to Kurt's arm. I think we'd be kind of getting all that situated so we can move on and continue down the side route.
So now that we've dismantled the float, how much damage did it take during the fight?
The only damage it took was a big chunk of the mannequin was destroyed from the club.
And we should probably make some sort of like skin suit for what remains of the mannequin. Although it might come up, given our lack of tailoring skill, looking more like a penis than a skin suit. I mean, we could just cut out the middleman and use the penis, drape it over the top.
I think we should.
Yeah, I would work on that. It's just a giant erect penis coming off of our float. Atop the stump of the porcelain prince statue.
I'm getting like the vibes of like that of Idiocracy. When he drives out onto the arena and he's got the car that's got like the floppy dildo, just kind of waving back and forth.
I'm sure that's what it's going to turn out
Except
to be.
it's real.
Because I am not good at fix. We'll see how I do. Would that be? I was going to say wisdom for this 3. So my attempt to make a giant erect phallus not entirely successful. It's just flopping in the wind.
Are you going to
Like
repair that
it's
portion that's
stapled all
missing?
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I would try.
So a couple hours pass as you are doing all this, and you move the vehicles and reattach everything and put everything back.
Yep. Well, I mean, we're taking, so we had to take the float off so that we can use Big Hustlin' as the primary vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't assume we're reassembling the float just now.
Yeah, not so. I mean, you kind of have to take it off in pieces, but you just kind of put it back with a puzzle.
Right. But I assume we've just got to find a way to store it, and then we will rebuild it in full when we're done using Big Hustlin'.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're taking it apart in pieces if we're just putting it back together again afterwards, like immediately afterwards.
Oh, I see what you mean. You're going to kind of like keep it in pieces till you get back on the road, and then
right, and then reassemble it. I also don't assume we can reassemble it on the smaller.
Yeah, it makes
vehicle.
sense to me.
The only piece that there is the porcelain prince with his new appendage.
Right.
Well, I'm sure we could find a way to tie up the pieces, so that they could be transported.
Right.
We just might have them kind of like on top.
Right. When we get back to the Ultraviolet
Makes
road
sense.
on the far side of the teardrop, we can reassemble it. So since we've now determined Skrill'ex is actually not all that good a driver, I will drive.
All right.
As he's probably busily trying to study the various body parts we've harvested. Let's see. What is piloting usually? What ability score? Go with dexterity, I guess.
Yeah, that works.
5.
It's like low roll day for you.
This entire campaign, actually, it's hard for me to get high numbers, particularly on attack rolls. I get a lot of 3s and 4s.
So this is kind of slow going again, as there's a lot of ruts
I do
and
too.
rocks, and you're trying to drive around. As Skrill'ex is studying and then looks up, watch out for this, watch out for that. And you get close to where the ravine is. There's just like a little trickle of some kind of water here. There's just a small muddy portion before you go back up, and like onto the other side you can kind of in the distance see where the Ultraviolet road is. So give me another pilot roll if Zavir wants to assist you.
I do. So you can get advantage or roll a third die.
Well, I got an 11. Let's see what I get on the extra die. 11.
So yeah, you're up over onto the other side. You're driving up there, and you can see the Ultraviolet road in the distance. It's only a couple kilometers away.
Let's make our way in that direction then.
All right. And as you look over to the Teardrop City on the lake, you can see some huge bubble kind of come out of the lake and like kind of float its way around the teardrop. And then at some point it just erupts into flames and falls to the ground and lands back into the lake.
The bubble does, or the whole city does?
The bubble.
I don't know what that is. Kind of glad we weren't there for it.
I am kind of glad too.
You make it back to the road, and are you going to reassemble everything before you? I would assume.
Yeah, we switch the vehicles back so that we can use the one that can drive on the Ultraviolet road as the lead car,
Okay.
and then reassemble the float. And I guess we try to reassemble it in a way that if I have to disassemble it again, it wouldn't be too much of a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like breakaway sections.
Okay. So yeah, as you go to do
So-
that, this would be a good point. We probably could stop, and you guys can level up.
Cool.
Awesome. Get ready for your new arm, Krieg.
So that means Kevin also missed out on getting a giant foot.
Yes.
And glowing adrenal glands.
I was gonna say it's good timing because of all the dissecting of that body. I can finally upgrade my bioscience. So thematically, it makes sense to level up after kind of learning about a new organism and having all these body parts where I can learn how to like stick them together.
I was going to say, I think if Brendan were here, he probably would be trying to do something with the glowing organs. If only like eat them when we're not looking.
Probably.
Surely he believes if you eat the glowing organs, you gain something, some sort of new power.
Alrighty. Well, take it easy, everyone.
All right.
Yep. See you guys.